It was 2 weeks ago that the government shutdown interrupted plane travel across the country. Flights into and out of LaGuardia were canceled and delayed when unpaid air traffic control workers called in sick. A temporary deal between the president and congressional Democrats is set to expire in a week. I am joined now by Sara Nelson. She is the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, a union representing nearly 50,000 flight attendants across multiple airlines. She's also an active flight attendant herself with United Airlines. Thanks for coming in this morning.
I'm happy to be here.
Talk a little bit about the situation 2 weeks ago, because you're saying that this potential slowdown that could come up now would be worse than what we already experienced 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. So this was the longest shutdown in U.S. history, more than twice as long as we've ever experienced before. And what happens is when you shut down these government functions, there's a determination of who's essential, who's non-essential. Many people were just furloughed. Others were told that they had to come to work but weren't going to get pay. When you stretch that out to over a month's time and people are not getting pay and not able to take care of their families and concerned about not being able to pay their rent or deal with the medical bills or even get medical treatment, that creates incredible stress. And these are people who are determined essential for our safety and security. So take the air traffic controllers, for example. They are required to retire at age 56 because their jobs are so stressful. When they go into their work environment, they have to leave their cell phones aside. They can't even talk about anything but work because it's so important that they focus on what they're doing. In any other work, if you have a 99.5% efficiency rate, you're doing stellarly, right? If you are an air traffic controller, that means 50 planes going down a day. So we don't need these people distracted. You can imagine that it was so stressful for them that when they called in sick, that was the end. And what we were saying is there's a breaking point here. We're already at 30-year lows for air traffic controllers.
That was the breaking point that we saw on January 25th.
Absolutely. That was the breaking point. And it will get much, much worse.
And why is that?
That's because 20% of the air traffic controllers today are qualified to retire. And in the New York area alone, 40% are eligible to retire. If they all go, there's a ripple effect that happens, and it means 50% of the planes staying on the ground. Now, I'm a flight attendant. I am a Boston-based flight attendant who lost friends on 9/11. I can also talk about what wasn't happening with our security. We didn't have the backing of the cybersecurity unit at DHS because many of them were on furlough. Many of the FBI were on furlough. And there were gaps in our security there, not to mention what you saw at the airports where TSA officers weren't getting paid, were sleeping in their cars between shifts because they couldn't get home.
This is what you were experiencing over the last month during the shutdown.
Last month. And now they haven't even had a chance to identify all the damage. That's all they're doing now. So if we go to February 26th or 16th, that is day 36 of the shutdown. It's not another one. It is continued harm. And you already saw it breaking. It's going to break much more.
And you're calling for some pretty drastic action on behalf of not only your union, but all union members if we get to that point.
Look, we had 2 million people who were out of work or being forced to work and not get paid. And that is unprecedented in our country. And that requires all of us to say, this is not acceptable. We don't accept slavery in this country. We don't accept people being locked out of work who perform very serious safety and security functions for us.
So you're calling for a general strike?
Calling for a general strike. People need to be talking about this, and workers need to stand up. Now, flight attendants are talking about what we're going to do. Because while federal workers were at the tip of the spear here, very quickly, we were going to lose work. If 50% of the planes are on the ground, that means massive furloughs for flight attendants and pilots and other aviation workers. What it also means is that individuals who don't even travel are not going to be getting their packages at home because packages are delivered on our planes. Think about the ripple effect there. It's no one would get out unscathed.
Are you recommending people not fly until this is fully settled?
What I will tell you is that we are very aware we are less safe right now until this is resolved and we have long-term funding and we can actually get the government back up fully and running. We are less safe and less secure. And when I get on a plane today, I make extra care to call my husband and my son because I know that we're less safe and tell them I love them.
Wow. Okay. Well, we appreciate your coming in. We'll stay in touch with you and talk with you again. Sara Nelson, thanks for coming in.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure this doesn't happen.
We appreciate it. Okay.